Hi, this is Rob and Ali sharing with you our passion of all things cruise and travel. It is a gloriously bright day. Do you know, I can hardly see.
It's beautiful, it's beautiful. We are in Rabaul today in Papua New Guinea, and we've got a tour booked with Rabaul Cruise Tours run by a lady called Ellis. So we're off to meet the tour now. There's about half a dozen sites. It's a half-day tour, and we will show you the sites along the way.
We've just had a wonderful choir greet us off the ship, but we've actually missed getting it on the camera.
No.
But it was wonderful.
Maybe later. We have got off the ship and we've turned right. There's the ship. We've come down here and there is an information booth here and a couple of the tours, and I think I can see ours straight ahead, Rabaul Cruise Tours, straight ahead of us. Hello, how are you? We've got one booked, I'm sorry.
No problem, enjoy.
Thank you, thank you. Hello. So yeah, there's a few of the tour operators that have got some tours. I've seen these on the Facebook group. I recognise the names. Hello, Pavu and Rabaul. I recognise these from the Facebook group. So our instructions were to meet at 9 o'clock. It would appear that the buses have gone early, but they're sorting something out for us, and they're getting another guide to take us on our tour. So yeah, can't complain about that. Our first stop is at the Rabaul Observatory. This is our tour bus behind us, and we've got a guide who's explaining things on the way up, telling us, when I say on the way up, we're up a hill now. I'll show you, we're overlooking the ship from up here, but she's explaining things to us on the way up as well. So all good so far after an uncertain start. But, we were on a bus, and then there's a couple of other couples that have joined us.
Actually, I would say it was the calmest bit of chaos I've ever seen. Really, they just all looked at each other and were
Oh well,
like, tour,
we'll have another bus.
We'll get you a bus. So they looked like there was going to be panic, but no, they just got us up on a bus and off we came.
Let me show you this. So we're overlooking the bay here. There's the ship down here that you can see, obviously, and then overlooking the bay. That water is beautiful today. It's very lush and green. There's a lot of people. There's a few tours here. This is an interesting tour here. Everybody's sat in the back of the truck. But our bus is behind, which, although it hasn't got air conditioning, is very cool once it gets going.
So it's actually an observatory for the volcano and the volcanic activity.
Yes. Not
an observatory of the stars, which is what I initially thought.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So, okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't connect the two.
Okay.
So we're going to go down and have a look in the buildings. Our guide has told us that there are people down here that can explain actually what they are doing and what they are observing.
Yep.
It's not active at the moment, but it was last active. When was it? The 70s?
I think it is. I think it is active.
Oh, okay.
Active volcano. Yeah, that's why they observe it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
You see this window behind us? Well, Alison was just having a quick look in there. She was got her hand up, she's peering in there, she's trying to see if she can see anything. Right on the other side of the window is a chap who sat in front of the computer working away, and she's basically looking. Look, he didn't do anything, didn't say anything, and she's just like, then she realised that he was there. It's like,
I just didn't see him at all, and I'm peering in like a kid in a candy, looking in a candy shop.
That's funny.
I was caught. I was well and truly caught out there nosing.
It is very humid today. There's no air conditioning on the bus, as I said earlier, but I think we've seen the sights here. We can't go in the observatory, so we'll wander back to the bus. Fortunately, there's nobody at the observatory today, and I'm not sure whether they haven't moved the equipment out. They're certainly moving the observatory. In the background, you will maybe see the volcano over there. Now, our guide was just telling us that Rabaul, where we are at the moment, used to be the capital of East New Britain until the volcano erupted and caused a lot of damage, and actually destroyed the airport and some houses. And they've moved the capital to Kokopo. So that's a bit of useful, interesting information. So we left the observatory and we're off to our next stop. Our next stop is the Karavia barge tunnels, and we've stopped in this field. So the Karavia barge tunnels, they're about 150 meters from the sea to the railway line, and the Japanese made the prisoners during the Second World War, made them build these tunnels so that they could get the people from the sea to the railway line. So this is one of the barges that we're going, now it's rotted away, it's just left here. After the war, there's one way in and one way out of this. So we're going into the tunnel now. Not sure how much we can see from here.
During World War II, the Japanese used Papua New Guinea as one of their strategic sites for storing their arms and armory, and obviously just for a strategic position for fighting. They used the prisoner of war, their prisoner of wars, to dig tunnels. There were tunnels all around the island for hiding supplies, hiding ammunitions, and hiding themselves, as well as their supplies, keeping them cool, keeping them out of sight and out of the line of fire.
Our guide has told us that there were apparently 366 tunnels dug by prisoners of war from all nations, Australia, Papua New Guinea, Americans from all nations during the war. The Japanese made them build 366 tunnels.
Very cleverly, this one is a barge tunnel. So this is where they built the tunnel, and they put railway lines that went directly from the sea, from where they could get the supplies from the ships, then bring them through these tunnels so they wouldn't actually even be seen on land at all. Very sneaky, very clever in a war situation. So there's a few kind of bats and a few little birds floating around. Not very much for you to see on camera, but in real life they just walked away and they left the supplies and left the barges. So there's some rusty old barges in here. They look a little bit like submarines rusting away in here, but yeah, very interesting. Here at the tunnels, they have the markets here as well. These are beautifully laid out. Look at this. Can you see this behind? All the beautifully bright scarves and sarong, and there's some sort of shell jewellery and things. I'm not sure whether this is any more expensive or less expensive than what's at the port, but it's certainly nicer laid out. It's a little bit rough and raggedy round by the port. The people are just having to lay out on the roadside, which looks very dusty. Here, everything looks beautifully clean and brighter. Yeah, it looks nicer. And also, one little handy hint: they do have toilets and with water and sinks to wash your hands. So yeah, you've got all the conveniences here as well.
So we've left the barge tunnel, and our next stop is the Yamamoto bunker.
Our third stop on this tour is at the Yamamoto bunker, which is a World War II headquarters of General Admiral Yamamoto. I'm not sure quite which he was, but he was stationed here, directed troops from here, used to fly in and out of Bougainville. So we are going to have a look. We're going to have a walk up here now to the bunker, have a look inside the bunker.
Singing
This is the entrance to the bunker. Where did bins come out?
Yeah, that's how I'm
One down there.
Oxygen.
We can see this is the height on the stairs, all the way down there into the actual bunker. Okay, so what we've got now here, we've come from here. There's our guide. Hey, and we come down. This is very low. You've got to stoop down, and these steps are very. There's nothing wrong with the steps actually, it's the ceiling. It's the ceiling that is very low. Banged my head once already. And down into the bunker. Actually, it's only the steps down. It's all right when you're down here. And this is very dark. It's very dark, but you might be able to get an idea of what it's like. So it is quite, I can actually hold my hand up to the ceiling here. I can actually hold my hand up to the ceiling here, although I had to bend down in order to get down here.
Yes, it's quite a low ceiling. Actually, it's not that low.
It's not here. Alison can't reach the ceiling.
I can't reach the ceiling.
So we've got a series of rooms. and there are some steps going up to the outside there.
I've now found the stairway to get out. I was actually going round and round in circles down there, but I've now found the stairway out. And I've lost Robert. Here we go. There. I have found my way out.
Across the road from the bunker, which is sort of down here, directly across the roadway here is the museum. This is the New Guinea Club. Have a quick look in the New Guinea Club. There's some armaments on the lawn here. Again, lots of people selling crafts, local crafts and sarongs, wraps.
So we're now standing inside the New Guinea Club that has been turned into a museum, a war museum by the Rabaul Historical Society. There's lots of photographs and newspaper articles on the walls here.
Lots of information, isn't there?
Lots of information. And then there's also some Second World War memorabilia. Nearly said it right. We've got an old Japanese plane here, war plane. It's tiny when
The tail end of, yeah.
But you can kind of see the scale of it, that it would have been tiny, like a little Spitfire. And there's flags and little bits and pieces. There's not a lot here, but it's quite nice and quite interesting. Just
A lot of information by the looks of it on the walls, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice if somebody could kind of give us a little bit of that information.
I'm sure that the Rabaul Historical Society do a tour.
Yeah.
We're only here for a short time while we're on our tour, so a quick pan around again before we leave. Some artifacts, war artifacts over in the, looks like a wing from a plane over there as well.
Do you know what's nice is that they have kept this really, really nice, even though there's a lot of tourists coming through here, and they've decorated all the tables. You can sit at the tables here just to rest your weary legs a little bit, and they've decorated them all with flowers. I mean, yeah, that's really beautiful. They do keep everywhere nice. On this trip today, I believe I have got the best seat on the bus. Right
next
by
to me.
next to you, next to Robert, and next to the window. The only thing is, I've ended up with what would you call this?
I don't know what you call it, but the camera's all over the place.
Well, it's fluffy hair I've ended up with, but look, it's actually standing on its end there. Woo! Anyway, it's a new look for me, but I don't care. I'm nice and cool.
We're on our way to the old airport now. There's the volcano you can see over here. Our dad was just telling us that the last time it erupted was about 2014, 2015. But it was 1994 when it covered the airport. The area that we just came through, I'm not sure whether I got it on video, to be honest with you, because I wasn't sure it was the same place, but the area we just came through, which was very green and very lush. Last time I was here, which is 2015, I think, it was just all big flat grey lava covered area, and I was talking to the guide and she said that when the volcano last erupted in 2014, 2015, it covered that area, but now just in those few years it's all grown up and it's trees and it's green and it's very lush. So we've carried on through there, and we're now come to another sort of little area where there are people selling drinks and
So you
sarongs.
can see on the pathway here on the ground, this is just all black ash. It looks like black sand. Yeah, so that's everywhere, and I believe that it's quite fertile. The ash from
Clearly it
volcanoes.
is, because all this has just grown. So,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is.
Absolutely beautiful.
But also around here is the remnants of a plane wreck from the war. So
It's just over here, a little bit
over
of
here. Okay, let's go over here then.
Hello.
Oh, here we go.
Hello.
Walk straight past this. Okay, so this got buried, didn't it? This got buried in the ash.
Oh yeah, not.
Majority of it anyway, and there's just this that you can see now, just this remaining left sticking out of the ground, but even that's all started to be well grown over, isn't it? So here we have the wreck of the old bomber from another side. Then we can see the turrets there where the spotters would probably be. My knowledge of these is not all that brilliant. Now, as we're walking around here, one of the local ladies has just warned us to watch our heads from the dry coconuts which fall out of the trees. So I'm keeping my eye up because I don't really want a coconut landing on my head.
So we're getting very, very close to the volcano there. And you can see that actually there's no life at all on that volcano. It's completely black, it's singed. As we get closer to the volcano, you can smell it. You can smell the sulphur, sort of the rotten egg smell. It's getting stronger and stronger.
We're now at the site of the hot springs. I've lost count of that it's a stop 5 or 6, I'm not really sure. However, this is the hot springs.
Yeah, so you can see all the tourist buses just behind us here. The tourist buses pay to come on here. If you do a private trip yourself, you have to pay to come on here, but I don't think it's very expensive. But everywhere we've been up to now, somebody's getting paid along the way. So that's all included in your trips if you come on a trip.
Yeah, and from what I understand, it depends on which trip you go on as well. So we're booked on Rabaul cruise tours run by Ellis. All our entry fees are paid. John Hucknall on the ship did say just be wary if you pick a tour bus up at the port. If fees are not included, there may be additional costs for all the sites when you go there. So if you're going on a tour and you've not booked it through either Rabaul or through the ship, just check that all your entry fees are all included. Otherwise, you may be up for a few more dollars or kina.
Now I can see the steam coming off those hot springs.
I could see that too. Let's have a walk down there.
Let's go and have a look.
Well, it's hot enough though. I don't need any more hot water. So we've got the hot springs down here. I'm not sure whether you can see some of the steam rising off here. Now that is extremely hot. Those sticks are there because there was a barrier here because a tourist fell in a little while back and got extremely badly burned, but I don't think they keep too many people back at the moment. But you can see the steam coming off, and that goes and meets with the sea down there.
We can actually see fish in this water. They're coming right to the edge. I have just put my hand in the water here, so that's where the hot springs are coming from there. I've put my hand in here, and I actually can tell you that you could still boil an egg in it.
But the fish aren't boiling.
Well, that's why I'm so surprised. We can actually see fish, but go on, you put your hand in
I
that.
can see the fish.
You won't actually burn your hand, but it's very, very hot.
There's entire schools of fish in there.
Yeah, it's very warm. It is very warm.
Yeah.
Don't get too close. I don't want to get my feet all wet. But
No, and we can see the fish here.
yeah.
I don't think the camera can pick them up, but yeah, that is amazing.
I'm stood a little way away from this springs, and there's a little bit of a breeze, but the breeze when it gusts a little bit, it blows the hot air, and I can feel the heat from the springs. It's I would not want to put my hand in there. I've put it in the water, in the sea, just over here. I've just put my hand in there. There are fish in there. Actually, it's extremely warm. There are fish in there, but the heat coming off this springs over here is incredible. And we are on this sort of ash, gravel, muddy type terrain, the hills. We've got the volcano over here, see the hot springs. Then we've got these people set up with the markets here, and it does, I don't know, maybe it's just my sense of humour, but it reminds me of something out of a Monty Python scene, somewhat. Yeah, just a barren land, and then some people selling souvenirs and goods. I don't know, just my sense of humour. And I also wonder if these people behind me haven't fallen out with some of the other traders, and the other traders seem to be all set up down here by the water. So, she's taking a picture of me while I'm making this video.
I'm just taking a little quick sneaky video of Robert taking a video. There we go. Hello, baby.
We've left the hot springs now, and we are going to our final stop for this tour, which is the markets. So we'll sit back, relax, and go down to the markets. Our final stop on this tour is at the markets. We're not too far from the ship here, so there's a market which is I think mainly produce, but we'll have a quick look around, and then there's some supermarkets across the road. Actually, that's not a good place to sort of do this from, because all we've got is the water tanks, but the markets are down here, so we'll pop around the markets and see what there is for sale at the markets.
So just an interesting point, as Robert will be taking some video around the marketplace, just look at some of the PNGs, their hair. So a lot of the people, obviously they have the darker skin and dark hair, but a lot of them have almost blonde hair. Now I've been reading about this, and it was once thought that it was sort of European influence that had come over here, and there was that genetic influence, and apparently it's not. It is native to this area that people do have almost blonde hair. Some of the children, yes.
There you go.
There you go. So just keep a lookout for that, and you'll see it can go from almost red to almost a blonde. Oh,
Okay.
Look at the beautiful little girl there. Can I say hello?
Hello. So there's ginger, and these look like a spring onion. These are, now they are priced according to the size of the vegetable. Chilies, and I forget what the tea, it's the unit of that makes up the kina, and I forget what it's called now. So. But the cabbages look to be again graded by size, but they look to be round about the 5, 6, 7 kina. Some pumpkins down there. There's a lot of green vegetables here. A lot of greens, and down here some bananas. I'm intrigued. What are these over here, Al? Okay, so what we've got at this store, we've got some lady just told us that these are mustard, and apparently what you do is you dip this in the lime, and then you eat that along with the betel nuts. Here are the betel nuts. So, yeah, there we go. Betel nuts are doing a roaring trade today. Betel nuts, mustard.
Oh, here's the lime over here.
And some lime over here. Okay. Bags of lime over here. This lady's got everything that you need for a betel nut treat. Some bags of lime, some mustard, and some betel nuts
I would love to
themselves.
have the nerve to have a go. I'd love to just have a go with it, but I'm not sure. I've seen the damage it can do to your teeth.
Our lovely guide has just shown me how to pick a good betel nut, and you squash them, and if they're firm, that's a good betel nut. So there you go, bit of advice there. I was having a walk through the cooked food here. She found some donuts, there's some scallops there, and scallops over here as well.
What's the sausage flour? Oh, it'd be just sausage in a bag there?
Could be.
Plain sausage.
So beside me and to either side of me, over here, that way, and over here, this way, Cook's Food Building, are the bustling markets of Rabaul. There's a lot of stalls selling the mustard seeds, the lime, the betel nuts, but there's also fresh fruit and vegetables that do look very fresh. There's onions, there's cabbages, lots of bananas, some cooked fruits, and there's some other fruits as well. So yeah, worth having a look around. Unfortunately, we're on the cruise. Obviously, we can't buy any and take it back on the cruise. So it's interesting to have a look around. Across the road is a couple of supermarkets. That's the final stop on our tour, is the markets of Rabaul.
So from the markets, it's time to make our way back to the cruise ship.
Oh, I've just seen a scarf with little snowmen on. That's unusual, isn't it? And we did see some that said Tenerife. Yeah, so there's all kinds of manner of things that are for sale here. I actually like the umbrellas. They all have really, really brightly coloured umbrellas, and rainbow colours. I can just see the ship in the distance. There we go. Our trip today then cost, was that $100 each?
100 Australian dollars each, yes. With,
Half a day tour?
Yeah, with Rabaul Cruise Tours, operated by Ellis, and it's you're paying cash on the day in Australian dollars.
When we came off the ship, so there were all, we've said before, there were all these little stalls set up, and you could buy your trips when you came off. So this is inside the port area, and
Yes.
all the little minibuses are pretty much the same. There's no air conditioning in them. I think they hold about 8 people.
They probably hold
Plus-
more. There's, I think about 14, all that. But
Yeah, so they're quite squashed and very narrow inside, but perfectly comfortable for the short amount of trip that you're doing. And they're all pretty much the same. So you don't have to book a tour is what I'm saying. You could come off and you could probably get a pretty decent tour. We don't know. Once you go out the gates, there are other coach tours available. We don't know what they're like. We haven't met anybody yet whether we could recommend those to you or not. But certainly within the gates, there was still plenty of places left if you hadn't already booked your trip. Also, so this is actually it's quite a dusty area, and it's got some containers and things over here. But just across there, within a short walking distance, is the security gates. That will then take you out onto the roadside, and there are markets all the way along that roadside. Has the same touristy kind of stuff as we've seen all day. So it's the big sarongs, the bags, the homemade bags, handmade necklaces out of shells and little wooden turtles and things like that. So it's the same stuff over and over again, but you could certainly buy it out there. The only thing I would say is it's very dusty out there, so if you bought anything, you'd probably have to give it a good rinse through.
And make sure you've got everything fastened away, because we got warned a number of times about
Yes.
the possibility of pickpockets.
I had my phone in my hand taking video, and one of the ladies on the stall warned me and said keep it down and hold it with 2 hands. And that was just one of the ladies on the stall. She went, no, and it wasn't to stop me filming. She said hold it tight, and that was in the marketplace. So I'd say, you know, and they're, yeah, everybody's very friendly, but people are going to take advantage, aren't they, when they see you waving expensive equipment around. Just from the ship here, we can see the water. We're going to go and see whether we could have a little walk along there and see if there's anything worth seeing. So we had a little explore off the ship just to see if we could get anywhere around the port, along the water's edge, see if there was any nice walks and things to do, any nice scenery.
No.
Nothing. There's nothing. There's nowhere to go, nothing to see.
Just where the ship's tied up. So Pacific Encounter, and her ties down to
little tugboats and fishing boats, but there's nowhere to sit, nothing to do, so I'm afraid it is a trip out. I had a look at all the trips on offer here as well, all of them, and all of them are centered around the Second World War Japanese artifacts and tunnels. There's nothing else on offer.
Well, and the volcano, of course, volcano markets, hot springs, etc. But check that out. We will put a list of Rabaul cruise tours up on our website. Check out those. There's a combination ones. You can do them from anything from a very short, we call it a quickie, to a full day tour. But also check out the time of your ship. I think ours changed the time. Now, go with a reputable cruise tour company. If you're not booking with P&O, make sure it's a reputable one. Rabaul Cruise Tours is, we know, we've been told so many times, a reputable one, and they will make sure they have you back on time if that time changes. But there's no guarantee. I have to say, if you don't book it through the ship, there is no guarantee. Anyway, we're off back now, get some lunch.
I actually feel that was worth doing.
Yes.
That was a trip worth doing, as was the one yesterday.
Yep.
I felt that we've been somewhere, we've done something, and we've seen some beautiful scenery. So yeah, I would recommend getting off the ship.
Yeah, that was Tour C, half day. We did it in the morning, so that there's the less risk of us being late back to ship. And of course, we're back to the ship now. So
starving. Let's go and get some lunch.
If you've liked this video, please hit like, please hit subscribe and notification if you want to see the rest of our videos. We're getting better at saying that. It's rolling off a little bit more. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Please subscribe.
So we hope you enjoyed that. We will see you in the next video. In the meantime, bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.